Okay, everybody, if I can have your attention, we're just going to start a few of the formal proceedings. I hate to interrupt all your socialising and meeting up with, I guess, a lot of people that you may not have seen for a while. So if we can wrap up a few photos and come in, we'll get the proceedings out of the way. We will get things underway.
Ladies,
Okay, I know that a lot of you have not seen some of your old friends like for a very long time, but I promise you we will move through these proceedings as quickly as we can. I didn't think I'd have to say that, but welcome all, and what a pleasure to have you all here today at our lovely Life Saving Club. Welcome to the 100th anniversary of the Mordialloc Life Saving Club. What a momentous occasion, and one that's been a long time in the. My name is Michelle Morris. I'm the current club president, and I know that there are a number of past presidents here today also. So on behalf of all of us, we'd love to extend a warm welcome to you all. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather today and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. I'd love to extend a warm welcome again to the club's life members that have been able to make it here. 100 days to the date from when this club first started on the 20th of November 1921. Again, what a momentous occasion. A warm welcome to all our guests. I'd like to particularly welcome Catherine Grieve, CEO of Life Saving Victoria. Welcome. Tim Richardson, MP, State Member for Mordialloc, and Councillor Tim Cochrane, representing the Malaluka ward, which is where we're standing today. Welcome my fellow committee members and the club sponsors who've also come. But we can't do without club sponsors, and but what we're all here for today, the 100-year anniversary and book, would not be possible without the hard work of the History Committee and contributors. And I know a number of those are here today too. So welcome and thank you. And you probably noticed a camera right in front of us. We are streaming this for people who could not make it today. So we got some numbers capped, of course, with COVID, and so quite a few people have joined us from around the state and certainly around the club. So one person that will need no introduction to many of you, Grant Rattenbury, past president of the club. Grant has devoted countless hours to bring this day to fruition. And on that note, I'd like to welcome Grant up. Yay!
Thank you, everybody. It's great to see everyone here. To say it's been a stressful week, it's an understatement. Thank you to my wife, Lisa. On Thursday, we had 40 people inside, and Thursday morning, and 60 outside. Trying to work out who's going to be inside, who's going to be outside. I'm doing my head in. The books arrived at 6 o'clock last night. So it's been a stressful week. Anyway, we're here now, it's great. Whoever did have a word in Dan Andrews' ear that restrictions should be lifted because there's a very important event on Saturday night. Thank you very much. Very relieved. The 100 years is really special, and doing the research from everything. One thing's common right through is that the Life Saving Club has some fantastic people, past, present, and I'm sure we'll have some in the future. They're here for one reason, is for the club. If when the book comes out, you'll read some of the achievements some of the people have done, but they were all here for one reason. So fantastic effort. One thing that was evident right through, even from the early years, was funding for a volunteer organisation and for any Life Saving Club trying to get funding to operate. So during the journey, we had some great partners. The Mordialloc Carnival was a great contributor. Shindig Dance was a fantastic contributor to our funds, and then later on, government funding and things like that. So we'll do talk about a little bit about the 100 years, and then we'll move into the book launch in the second part of the proceedings. So at the moment, if I could call up Kip Richardson just to say a few words, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us for this incredible and auspicious occasion to celebrate 100 years. And how do you sum up something so spectacular, the whole summers that have been had here, the people that have come before us? I firstly want to start though by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land on which we meet and gather, and pay my profound respects to elders past, present and emerging as part of the new club rebuild. The gathering place that is a key feature in the Mordialloc Life Saving Club probably showcases the value of this organisation I know the City of Kingston and members of Parliament at that time were very keen to make sure that that was recognised to provide a great place for the Kingston Koori mob, and so we recognised that contribution as well. So how do you sum up 100 years? How do you really showcase everything that's been achieved over this time across 3 clubs, one burning down, one that lasted for the 70 years, and then had that partnership with state government and Life Saving Victoria? How do you celebrate all that has been achieved? And the life members here, but then those that have come before us and contributed so much to the culture of the club. When you look back to historical photos of where Mordialloc was in 1921, barely a few shopping strips through the main street. And as our community started to grow and expand, we saw Mordialloc Life Saving Club become a key feature of our local community. And as hundreds of thousands, if not millions, have come and interacted with the foreshore, Victorians have been in the comfort of having Mordialloc Life Saving volunteers always keeping a watchful eye over them. And then there's the competitions that have been so successful in over the years. That showcase of success across the carnivals, across those competitions has been outstanding. But you think of Grant mentioned just before the shindigs. The story goes that Hazel Pearce used to patrol during that time. There's a cheeky reference to a smack on the bottom if people got out of line during that time. And over 20 years, that really underpinned some of the revenue and the source. You couldn't dance, apparently, it was so full. And this was really a place to be. I don't know whether Michelle and the team are looking at bringing back the shindig, maybe. I'm not too sure. There's probably a few club members who'd like to see that come back in. And then, of course, the Mordialloc Carnival, which was such a flagship for our local community and was really underpinned by the volunteerism that comes here. That sense of service has been a part of Mordialloc Life Saving Club. As our communities evolved and more families have moved in, and really we are merely custodians passing through clubs and through our communities during that time. And so to honour and celebrate and put into words and thank the people that have underpinned the success of this Life Saving Club, a flagship just not for Victoria, but across our nation, is really something special. Can I give a really big shout out to Grant Rattenbury and the history team? You give them a bit massive round of applause. Life Saving people, they're incredibly humble, and the work that's gone in to make this a history record for the ages, for our communities, to educate our kids into the future of everything that's been achieved to this point and to be celebrated, is an incredible effort. Can't wait to Grant's at over purchase about 100 books, so I'm not going away empty-handed. To provide that record for everyone to celebrate into the future is great. So celebrate this wonderful milestone. Congratulations on all you've achieved, and here's to wonderful years and decades ahead. Take care.
Thank you, Tim. Speaking of shindig, I was not old enough to go, I did hear that they sold chewing gum, cigarettes, soft drink, and chips. So you wouldn't get away with that now. The old club that was pulled down before this one has wooden benches. We have got one down in the foyer. The amount of chewy that was underneath those was unbelievable. So, yeah, I'm not sure if that bench down there. George did it up. Is there any chewy still under it, George? Yeah. But yeah, memories like that are fantastic, and there's going to be plenty right throughout the day, and people catch up. Next, I'd like to call up Catherine Greaves, CEO of Life Saving Victoria, just to say a few words, please.
Grant, and thank you, Michelle, too, for having me here today. So I've been CEO at LSC now for just coming up 6 months since early June. So I would like to start as well by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land which we're meeting today, the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and I do pay my respects to elders past, present, and those emerging leaders as well, and of course to everybody here today. So look, it's a real honour, and I have to say, I feel like I'm coming out of a cocoon. I've been cocooned in and out of the office and working from home since June, and This is my first really official LSC event, so it's a great honour to be here, and particularly to celebrate 100 years with you. It's a momentous milestone indeed, and I'm really honoured to be here. I must say, I'm doing a little bit of my own history in the absence of actually having a copy of the book. I was really intrigued to hear about just how many amazing members have come through this club, how many champions. I can't even imagine how many volunteers and members have actually passed through and benefited from having involvement with this club over 100 years. It just beggars belief, really. I can't imagine. But I guess for me, you know, hearing that it was in fact a World War I veteran who started up the club I think facilitated the build of the club coming from Gallipoli in 1921. And then again, I'm really intrigued about how you got all the information, because I hear that the first club actually was flooded in the 20s, 1922, or and the second one burned down in the 50s. So really and truly, it says a heck of a lot for community resilience, doesn't it? And the community, in fact, as I understand it, banded together and rebuild the club at that time. And then, of course, now what a beautiful premises that we have the honour of being in today. So, and another milestone, I think, or another real achievement of the club was having the first woman president across all of the clubs in Victoria. Again, I think that's a really amazing thing. Hazel, I believe, is president for about 30 years. Is that right? 32 years. Yeah, I agree. That's Michelle at home as well. It's absolutely fantastic. So, look, I think I can only say, Grant, I'm so glad today has turned out the way it has. We had a few email exchanges, and Grant actually wrote to me back in June and said, by the way, you know, we've got this book launch happening on the 20th of November, so keep your diary free. And I was really thrilled to see the invitation come through. More thrilled that you managed to sort it out with the Premier and get the place opened up, and then somebody higher up to make aware that it's not today. So I think everything's fallen into place absolutely beautifully. Look, I have so much respect for all of you who put time, effort, and energy into keeping the community safe, into actually creating such an amazing community hub where people can come together. Together you build community wellbeing and resilience, and of course the safety that we all need to be so very conscious of coming into this season, where I think we will have a challenging life-saving season post-COVID. Our worst drowning toll ever last year, with 61 drowning deaths, an absolutely tragic result. And we just want to encourage our kids that have missed so many millions of swimming lessons across the last 2 years. And those that are going to flock back to our beaches, as we saw the very first taste of on Melbourne Cup Day the other week. We're going to have a lot of that, and we just want to keep people safe and get them in the water, run our methods programs, and have a lot of fun over the summer. So look, I do commend this book to you when we finally get to see it, and thank you again so much for having me, and congratulations to Grant and the club.
Thanks, Catherine. Yes, speaking of Hazel, setting up today reminds us of Hazel in an event would just be the organiser. We'd be running around all over the place, getting things done, setting up tables. So doing it today reminds us a little bit of Hazel. A funny story is that Hazel, when I took over as president from Hazel, it was all lovely. She said, I'm 85, I've done it for 32 years. I think it's time that I step down. I love this club. I want someone to take it and look after it. I said it did on Hazel. So kept in contact with Hazel and kept talking to her and wanted to know what was happening with the club. One thing she did say to me is I want my funeral memorial at the Life Saving Club, at the old club where Shindig was. So we packed up everything. It had to be out there by the 30th of April. We put everything in boxes, all the boards were off the walls, everything was packed up. But Hazel, whether she brought it forward a little bit herself, but she passed away before the end. So we had her funeral in the last building. We had to unpack things, put boards back up on the wall, put a marquee back up, tables and chairs. So we still have a laugh that right up to the end. Hazel still had us fun around and setting things up. Well done, Hazel. Yeah, for plenty of stories, as I said, they'll come out during the day. Next up, I'd like to call up John Newton, who wants to say a few words and has some things to present.
Who knows?
We're
We're going to have a narrowband night.
we were discussing
We're having a narrowband.
just the narrowband.
Shut up. Shut up.
How funny is that? We sat there and watched the
I've
video.
broken up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Newton, and so I don't forget to thank everyone. My wife has written my speech. I'm honoured to be invited to recognise 3 past members of our Life Saving Club, whom we discovered in researching our history of the past 100 years. These 3 members are unique as they have achieved the highest award offered in life saving, namely the diploma. In 1952, a young man, Max Chapman, who's a life member, aged 17, travelled by train to Mordialloc from his home in Camberwell. He was keen to experience swimming in the sea and soon found the beach and the Mordialloc Life Saving Club. Shortly after becoming a member, he obtained his bronze medallion, then took time to travel overseas to study his profession, accountancy. Upon returning to Mordialloc, Max quickly joined our club committee and in the following years became club secretary, club captain, chief instructor, and deputy examiner of the Royal Life Saving Society. During these years, every award was gained by Max except the diploma. But not to be denied, the challenge was completed and awarded in 1975. Max made many lifelong members, friends, during his time at the Mordialloc Life Saving Club, and continued his travel as well as enjoying his love of the sea. 2 deep sea diving incident claimed his life at the age of 75. I would like to call on Luke Chapman. Luke Chapman to accept Max's diploma. I asked my CEO of the Life Saving organisation to come forward, Kathleen Reeves, to present Luke's award. I now come to speak about 2 remaining achievers. These 2 young men, John Clampett in the blue shirt, and John Ollie with a beard. Joined the club at a very young age. I think they were only 8. 7, 8. Right. Both had older sisters. Where are they? They're down there. Linda. And Sonia's not here tonight. Who encouraged them to join the fun across the road at the Mordialloc Life Saving Club. This gained them some felt under the sand achievement. By the time they were senior members, they were fit and keen for competition under the guidance of one Joan Spitz. Who had a reputation for achieving results both in the water or on the beach. And there was no messing around, just hard work. By this time, both Johns had gained all of their awards and approached Joan with the idea of attempting the diploma. And of course, Joan sprang to their aid. Practical and physical training went into the full swing. Before long, their mentor had almost fulfilled the desire to see them succeed. The achievement of the Royal Life Saving Society Ultimate Award came along in 1981. These two very proud and appreciative young men, their first stepping stone towards many other goals in the busy lives. I would like to call on John Clampett in the blue shirt. And John Ollie from Ulladulla, who has come down today from New South Wales. We've been presented by the President, yes. Now, these diplomas certificates will remain permanently displayed in the club for recognition of these. And we hopefully in years to come that many more frames will be put on the board to receive this highest award in life saving. Many thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you to the two Johns and Luke for the diplomas we found. We didn't have them all, but we did find them, and we're putting in the frames to hang on the club, so they're always here for people to see. So well done. That was great. And you know, diploma is a very high award, so very well deserved. Into the next part of the proceedings, we'll move into the book. The history subcommittee, I will introduce. Or just put your hand up if you like. I'll get you up at the end. But we formed when we moved all the material at the old club, the cabinet with some old material, and we did lose a lot of with information, but there was a cabinet there and we're having a working meeting. Someone said, "Do we need all this old stuff?" I said, "Yeah, just put it aside. I'm going to put it into a book one day." And I said, "Yeah, okay." Good luck. So anyway, we saved it. When we unpacked, we brought it all out. There was some good stuff in there. I think some people must have taken some books home and saved it because if you come back to the club, you'll see on the display out there, there's beautiful old handwritten minutes of meetings and things like that. So we started the journey. Our subcommittee, which John Newton is partner in crime. One thing about John is he has contacted life members and everything old school. Rang them, doesn't have an email. He's done it all old school. So John, well done. It's a massive achievement we did a certificate ceremony 2 years ago, I think. So to contact all these people by phone is unbelievable. So John, yes. So, that started things off. John Batten came on board with James Spears, so put your hand up. We also had Sue Erikson Clark. Yay! She's away, but she is there as well. We had some other helpers that came
Tell your wife to go.
during the journey, but that was the main crew that we sat down and got the job going. So we had some help from crew from Life Saving Archives, which was a fantastic help. She gave us a lot of information. Graham Whitehead from Library, Kingston Library, gave us some fantastic information, and also David Grant, who wrote the book for Mentone, came along to one of our meetings and gave us a lovely timeline. I looked at John, I was thinking, geez, I don't think we're ever going to get this done. But David, to credit, I looked at it the other day, we weren't too far off the mark, so it was a pretty good timeline. So thank you, it was a great help. But I'll just tell you a little story. We would go to the library and we would read the local papers. We'd pull them out and we'd have a read, and we might read 10 each, and we'd find an article on Mordialloc, and we'd take a photo on the iPad and then we'd save it. One day, John invited Chilla to come along with us, and if you know Chilla from around the club, if you don't know him, he was in the book. But Chilla is in his 90s, but he started reading the newspaper and he got to the first newspaper and first page. Oh, I know that bloke. So he started reading. In terms of page, oh, yeah, I know him too. Well, Chilla read one paper for the whole time. Knew everyone in it, read all the articles. But it was good fun. So they were the fun things we had to get all this information together. So great team. We will get them up soon. But to kick it off, we can't do all this without some funding. And we approached Bendigo Bank and we said, look, we want some funding to collaborate all this information, scan documents, put it all in there. We applied for funding and were very successful. They were more than happy to come on board. And that kick-started us along in this journey. So I'd like to welcome Rob and Anna from Bendigo Bank just to say a few words.
Hi guys, thank you for having us here, and congratulations on your 100-year celebration. Great achievement, and I didn't know too much about the history, so it's great to hear a little bit about the struggles you've been through and how you've managed to keep going and get to what you've achieved today. So well done to all. The club rooms here look amazing, and it's great to see all these club rooms getting a bit of life pumped back into them again, and you're able to throw these huge events, which will continue to support the club. So also great news there. I won't take up too much of your time, because I know there's a lot of speakers and you probably want to get on with your night. And nobody really wants to listen to the bank. So, but for anybody who doesn't really know about Bendigo Bank or community banking, pretty much what we do is the money we make from our customers, the profit, 80% of it goes back into our community. It's a very original and unique model, and I believe we're the only bank in Australia that participates in it. So this is where this funding comes from. It comes from our customers, and it's what we get, and we're able to put it back to you guys to benefit from it. All I ask when I go to these occasions as beneficiaries of the funding is to support us. The main thing we ask of all our clubs is to enter into a partnership with us and not just have it as a one-way system where you guys get money, enjoy your stuff pretty much. Yeah, because if we don't grow as a business, our profit doesn't grow, and as I said, the money comes from our profit. So all I ask is everyone today to please consider Bendigo Bank as your bank of choice. If you already do bank with Bendigo Bank, thank you for your support, and please continue to support us. And for all those who've never thought of Bendigo Bank or who've maybe thought about it but not went ahead with it, don't hesitate, don't put it off. Please give us a call. Come into the branch, which is located on Como Parade in Parkdale. Especially at the moment with plenty of banks shutting their doors, we are open to stay. So please consider us and bring your banking over, and make sure you mention the Mordialloc Life Saving Club so you get more benefits from it. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. It's very much appreciated. And Bendigo have been a great supporter for many years. So yeah, we appreciate it really much. And they did kick off the book, got us going. As we went along the journey, we did have some help. Sydney and Kingston, the councillors were very supportive. We got some funding which helped with with the book and to help with this function today. So we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Mark Draper's office contributed some money and some funding, which helped us along as well. So thank you for all the contributors and our sponsors and everything. It is a massive team to put together. All that is great. We have a bunch of information. We have all this stuff that we put together, but I didn't have any clue how to put it all into a book, and no one else really did. So as a chance, I think John bumped into Steve, who is the author of the book, and I'd like to ask Steve up to say a few words, please.
Happy birthday. I'd like to thank the club for asking me to do this. It was wildly time consuming but enormously enjoyable. And I came across a lot of really good people. I think there are exceptions. Many Phillips is over there, Holly's over there, and George Phillips is over here. But by and large, really good blokes and ladies. And I think the thing you discovered was that there are so many people who saw their kids come through, and their kids came and went, but the parents hung around and hung around and hung around. And you look around this room now, and you've all hung around. You're still here. It was, I think, a really important project for the club to do. You can easily dismiss the importance of a book like this because a lot of you have lived it and lived it for a number of years, and you can assume and take for granted what's happened. But in 100 years' time, people will wonder how it all happened. And if you don't record it, it's lost. And to the person who writes the 200-year history of this book, he's going to be very thankful that we've done this. I'd like to thank my book editor and wife, Janelle Ward. I write the book and I think it's perfect. And she looks at it and there are red marks all through it. To the designer, Dean Petch, who got absorbed in the project as well, had countless meetings with Dean. to the printers who I've never used before, they recommended to me. I was terrified. I'm sitting at home at 4 o'clock last night knowing that this function is going to happen and I don't have the books. It assures me they're on their way. 5 o'clock, I'm still terrified, and then suddenly some car pulls in my driveway with the boxes. Hallelujah. But no, really enjoyable. Grant and his subcommittee, John Newton in particular, John drove me mad. Grant only slightly drove me mad. And there were others, but they're to be congratulated for their enthusiasm in pushing this project ahead, because I think it's an outstanding looking book. There'll be mistakes in it. I'm intending to become a social member, and I'm a very good social member. I'll be very active out on that balcony. And if you like the book, you can find me at the end. And if you've got a problem with the book, talk to him, because I don't care. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. It was a long journey. Yeah, we got there at the end, and it's fantastic. So, look, next up, I'd like to call up the history subcommittee up to the floor, please. But John,
Robin.
Sue.
Go, Rob.
Jerry. So, this is the crew that put the book together. Did all the research. We also started the journey with Ian Alcock, who was a big member of the subcommittee as well, and we had some great meetings looking through all the information. Unfortunately, Ian lost his battle halfway through and didn't finish the journey with us, but his three beautiful daughters are here today representing him, and he would be super proud of what we've done. So, without any more, I'd like to present the book.
Woohoo!
It will be available to purchase, so we give time to set up, but it will be available to purchase, and we will have information for online purchases next week on our website, so you can order through there. So thank you very much. Fantastic result, fantastic achievement. I hope it's got a little bit in there for everybody. As Steve said, it's the best we could do. And we did a great job during COVID. During COVID, when we couldn't make it together and had to do it through emails and things like that, we did it. So well done, guys. Michelle, this continues health proceedings, and yes, thank you.
Thanks, all. Yes, if you could all stay here. Thank you, everybody. I mean, I'm sure you're all looking forward to the rest of this night and sharing some really special stories. Before we go, we wanted to do something for Grant, just to say thank you. And I'll tell a bit of a story. Over the last probably 2 months, I've had text messages, phone calls, notes passed to me in meetings to say, you need to thank Grant. You need to thank Grant. You need to thank Grant. I know, we need to thank Grant. And you've done an absolute stellar job, along with your committee here to pull all of this together. I mean, blood, sweat and tears, and I'm sure a few grey hairs, particularly this week with potential rain, COVID, trying to separate people inside, outside, making sure we we had everybody here, and certainly it's going to be a special night. So Grant, for you, we wanted to present you with your own copy of the book. I have to say, is a great woman, and I think Lisa, again, has been an absolute trooper and helped pull everything together. I mean, photos, research, and it's a really special day, and I can see that it means a lot to you. So enjoy the night. I'm certainly keen to hear some of those stories as we progress through the night. So enjoy, hang around, the bar's open, and enjoy your night. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you.